The silver vessel approached the massive ring-shaped station that floated in the darkness of space. Inside the ship, Admiral Ji-ho Kim adjusted his uniform one final time. After decades of searching the stars, humanity had finally made contact with the Galactic Council, a federation of 27 spacefaring species. "Docking complete," announced the ship's computer. Ji-ho took a deep breath. "Remember," he told his small diplomatic team, "we represent all of Earth today." The airlock door slid open with a soft hiss. Ji-ho led his team into a vast chamber filled with beings of incredible diversity. Some floated in liquid tanks, others moved on multiple legs. A few seemed to shimmer in and out of solid form. At the center stood a tall, slender being with pale blue skin that glowed softly. This was Counselor Tamar, their appointed host. "Welcome, humans," she said, her voice translated through the small devices in their ears. "We have anticipated this meeting for some time." Ji-ho bowed slightly. "We are honored to join the galactic community." Tamar guided them through the crowded chamber. Many aliens moved away as the humans passed. Others stared openly, their appendages twitching in what Ji-ho guessed was nervousness. "Please forgive their reaction," Tamar said. "You are the first species we've encountered from a Class 12 world." "Class 12? asked Subin, one of Ji-ho's science officers. "A death world," Tamar explained. "A planet so hostile that intelligent life rarely evolves there." Ji-ho exchanged glances with his team. Earth had never seemed particularly deadly to them. The council chamber itself was enormous, with seating for hundreds of delegates. Ji-ho stood before them, images of Earth projected behind him. "As you can see," he explained, "our world has diverse environments ranging from frozen poles to tropical regions." An insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles. "Your species tolerates temperature variations of over 100 degrees? "Yes," Ji-ho nodded. "We've adapted to live in most climate zones." "And these?" asked another counselor, pointing to images of Earth's wildlife. "Natural fauna. That's a tiger, a predatory mammal." "You share your world with such creatures?" The counselor's skin turned a deep purple. "And these storms? They produce electrical discharges and can destroy structures?" "Hurricanes and tornadoes are challenging, yes, but we've learned to predict them." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Ji-ho realized the council members were genuinely shocked by what humans considered normal. During a break in the proceedings, Ji-ho found himself approached by a small delegation of aliens with thick, armored skin. "We are the Dervan," one introduced itself. "Our world is Class 9. Not as extreme as yours, but we understand the challenges of evolution under pressure." "You're the only ones who didn't seem surprised by us," Ji-ho noted. The Dervan made a rumbling sound that might have been laughter. "The others have lived too long in comfort. They've forgotten that struggle breeds strength." Later, Ji-ho and his team were invited to demonstrate human physical capabilities. Subin ran on a treadmill while scientists monitored her vital signs. "Remarkable," said one researcher. "You maintain this pace while carrying on a conversation." "This is just a light jog," Subin replied. In another test, Ji-ho held his breath underwater for over 2 minutes. "Most council species would lose consciousness in half that time," Tamar explained afterwards. "Your body's ability to function under oxygen debt is concerning." "Concerning?" Ji-ho asked. Tamar's skin pulsed with patterns of blue and green. "You must understand. Many here fear what your species represents. You evolved on a world that would kill most of us within days. Your bodies can endure radiation, toxins, physical trauma, and environmental extremes that would be fatal to others. We're just people," Ji-ho said simply. "We want peaceful relations." "But you're also natural survivors," Tamar replied, "and survival often requires violence." The council debated for 3 days before granting humans provisional membership. Ji-ho stood with his team as the verdict was announced. "In recognition of humanity's achievement in reaching the stars despite evolving on an extreme world, we welcome Earth to the galactic community," declared the head counselor. "However, certain restrictions will apply to human expansion and military development." That evening, as the Earth vessel prepared to return home with the news, Tamar visited Jiho privately. Not everyone supported your admission, she said quietly. Some fear what humans might become among the stars. Jiho looked out at the vast expanse of space. What would you have us become? Allies, I hope, Tamar answered. The galaxy has been peaceful for so long that most species have forgotten how to face real threats. Someday we may need what Deathworlders bring to the table. Jiho didn't know it then, but Tamar's words would prove prophetic sooner than anyone expected. 3 years after Earth joined the Galactic Council, Commander Hannah Park stood on the bridge of the Earth vessel Endeavor. The ship floated at the edge of the Mira sector, watching as the once vibrant planet Tellus burned. Its blue oceans now glowed orange with widespread fires visible even from orbit. Recording complete, said her sensor officer. It's the same pattern as the other attacks. Hannah nodded grimly. She was 32 years old, but looked older today. The last 6 weeks had aged everyone in the fleet. No one had expected the void. Hierarchs. They had appeared without warning, emerging from an unexplored region of space in massive ships that resembled black thorns. The first world they hit never had a chance to send a distress signal. By the time the Council realized what was happening, 3 systems had already fallen. Any life signs remaining? Hannah asked. None, Commander. Population centers were hit first. Hannah closed her eyes briefly. Tellus had been home to over 4 billion people. Incoming transmission from Council Command, announced her communications officer. The main screen lit up to show Admiral Jiho Kim. His expression was grave. Commander Park, return to Central Station immediately. The situation has escalated. The journey took 14 hours at maximum speed. When they arrived, the station buzzed with frantic activity. Species that normally avoided each other now huddled together in worried conversation. Hannah found Admiral Kim in the Central Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the hierarch advance. Red markers indicated conquered worlds. 12 planets in 6 weeks, Kim said when he saw her. The Council has never faced anything like this. What do we know about these hierarchs? Hannah asked. Kim pulled up an image captured from a surveillance drone. The being stood over 2 meters tall with a body that seemed both mechanical and organic. Its head featured multiple glowing eyes arranged in a pattern that reminded Hannah of a spider. They call themselves the Ascended. Their biology is unlike anything we've seen. Part natural evolution, part artificial enhancement. They consume resources and capture technology from conquered worlds to improve themselves. Hannah studied the tactical display. Where are the Council Defense Forces? Retreating. Again. Kim's face showed his frustration. They're more ceremonial than functional. None of these species has fought a real war in over 2,000 years. A series of alarms suddenly blared through the command center. Fresh data streamed in from the front lines. They've broken through at Sector 7, reported a council officer. 3 more systems directly threatened. Hannah watched the alien officers. Their movements were becoming increasingly panicked. One species communicated through color changes in their skin. All of them had turned a uniform shade of gray that Hannah recognized as extreme distress. They don't know how to handle this, she said quietly to Kim. They've lived too long in peace. Kim nodded. The Council military trains for precision and minimal casualties. They try to disable enemy ships, give warnings, offer surrender terms. While the hierarchs just kill everything in their path, Hannah finished. A tall council member approached them. Hannah recognized him as General Voss, the nominal head of Council Defense Forces. Your assessment, Commander Park? He asked, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Hannah didn't soften her words. Your forces are fighting like you expect the enemy to follow rules. There are no rules here. Voss's skin rippled with distress patterns. We cannot abandon our principles even in war. Then you will lose, Hannah replied simply. Later that day, Hannah received new orders. The Endeavor would be sent to gather intelligence on hierarch movements near the border systems. As she prepared to depart, Admiral Kim pulled her aside. I'm pushing the Council to form a joint defense initiative with human tactical leadership, he told her. They're resistant, But each defeat makes my case stronger. Do they understand what they're dealing with? Hana asked. Barely. These species evolved on gentle worlds with few predators. Their instincts aren't wired for combat the way ours are. As the Endeavor left the station, Hana received a classified transmission. It contained footage from a ground battle on one of the fallen worlds. Council soldiers had fought bravely but methodically. The hierarchs had overwhelmed them through sheer aggression and adaptability. Watching the footage, Hana felt a chill. The hierarchs moved like predators, like humans did when fighting. Their tactics showed a ruthless efficiency that the Council species couldn't match. Set course for the Terran border, she ordered, and begin combat simulations. I want everyone ready. Her first officer looked up from his console. Ready for what, Commander? For when the Council finally admits they need Deathworlders to fight. This war, Hana replied, because that day is coming soon. As the Endeavor jumped to faster than light speed, reports came in of another system falling to the hierarchs. The enemy was moving faster now, learning, adapting, and they were heading toward the heart of Council space. The Council chamber had never been so quiet. Admiral Ji-Ho Kim stood before the assembled representatives of 27 spacefaring civilizations, his proposal hanging in the air between them. You want us to place Council ships under human command? Counselor Tamar's skin flickered with patterns that indicated deep distress. Your species has barely left its own solar system. 16. Worlds have fallen, Ji-Ho replied calmly. Your conventional tactics aren't working. The facts were impossible to deny. The Void hierarchs had cut through Council defenses like they weren't there. The latest reports showed their forces regrouping for what appeared to be a push toward more populated systems. What makes humans qualified to lead this fight? Asked a representative of the Move-In Collective, his eye stalks swiveling with skepticism. Ji-Ho gestured to the tactical display showing the path of destruction. We understand something your people have forgotten over millennia of peace. We know how to fight when survival is at stake. Because you come from a death world, said General Voss. Yes, life on Earth has always been a struggle. Our history is filled with conflict because our world shaped us that way. The Council members exchanged uncomfortable glances. What Ji-Ho was proposing went against thousands of years of their traditions. Military command was traditionally given to the oldest, most diplomatic species. We propose a joint task force, Ji-Ho continued. Human tactical leadership combined with your advanced technology. After 3 days of heated debate, the Council approved the plan by the narrowest of margins. The decision wasn't popular, but desperation had finally overcome tradition. Commander Hana Park stood in the docking bay of the newly christened vessel, Defiance. The ship represented the best of Council technology with modifications suggested by Earth engineers. Around her, a mixed crew of humans and aliens prepared for departure. Commander on deck called out her human second officer. The human crew members stood at attention. The aliens, unfamiliar with the protocol, attempted to mimic the stance with varying degrees of success. Hana allowed herself a small smile. At ease. We have work to do. Her first officer was a Leaner named Marrow, whose species resembled tall, thin humans with silvery skin and 4-fingered hands. He approached with a data tablet. Combat simulations are ready as requested, he said. Though I must note that several crew members have registered concerns about the scenarios. What concerns? Hana asked as they walked toward the bridge. They find your tactical approaches disturbing, particularly the emphasis on ambush and deception. Noted, Hana replied. But we're not fighting a ceremonial war anymore. The first weeks were challenging. The alien crew members were brilliant, technicians but struggled with human concepts of warfare. They had been trained to announce their presence before engaging, and to always offer surrender terms. Hana's approach of striking hard and fast from unexpected vectors went against everything they had learned. During the first simulation, a Filian engineer had actually walked off the bridge in protest when Hana ordered a surprise attack on a simulated hierarch supply line. Is victory without honor truly victory? He had asked. Is honor useful to the dead? Hana had countered. Gradually, the mixed crew began to work together more effectively. The aliens learned to trust human instincts in combat, while the humans learned to leverage the aliens' superior technical knowledge. 1 month after formation, the task force received its first real mission. A small hierarch scouting group had been detected near the Lyran system. The Defiance would intercept them. "This is our chance to prove the concept," Jiho told Hana during their final briefing. "The Council is watching closely." "We'll be ready," Hana promised. The hierarchs had grown accustomed to easy victories against Council forces. When the Defiance dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly behind them, they were caught by surprise. "Target their propulsion systems," Hana ordered. "Don't give them time to call for help." The Defiance's weapons, upgraded based on human suggestions, tore through the hierarch vessel's shields. On the bridge, Mero watched in amazement. "Your attack pattern? It's nothing like our standard approach." "We're attacking like predators," Hana explained. "Hit hard where they're vulnerable and don't stop until the threat is neutralized." The battle lasted less than 20 minutes. When it was over, 2 hierarch ships were destroyed and 1 was disabled. "Boarding teams ready," reported the tactical officer. "Proceed," Hana ordered. "I want whatever intelligence we can gather." Later, as the Defiance returned to Council space with its captured hierarch technology and data, Mero approached Hana in her ready room. "I need to understand something," he said. "During the battle you seemed different, more focused, almost like you were enjoying it." Hana considered her response carefully. "Humans don't enjoy killing, but we are wired to be effective at it, when necessary. Earth shaped our species to recognize threats and deal with them decisively. That's what makes Deathworlders different," Mero concluded. "You never had the luxury of fighting with rules." Word of the Defiance's victory spread quickly. Soon, other Council worlds were requesting similar joint task forces. Reluctantly, the Council expanded the program, placing more ships under human tactical command. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the hierarchs appeared, there was hope. The massive central station of the Galactic Council burned. Emergency lights flashed through corridors filled with smoke. Alarms blared in multiple languages, warning of hull breaches and life support failures in several sectors. No one had expected the attack. The Void hierarchs had sent representatives to discuss peace terms. Council security had scanned the diplomatic vessels for weapons but found nothing threatening. Yet somehow within hours of their arrival the station's defenses had been hacked, and hierarch troops had poured in from concealed compartments in their ships. Lieutenant Do-yoon stood in a small maintenance room with 29 other human volunteers. They were all that remained of the station's human contingent who could still fight. The rest had either been killed in the initial assault or were trapped in other sections. "The Council leadership is being held in the central hub," Do-yoon explained, pointing to a holographic map. "The hierarchs have control of all main corridors and defense systems." "So how do we reach them?" asked Tae-won, a young security officer with a bloodied uniform. Do-yoon highlighted a network of narrow maintenance tunnels that ran between the station's outer shell and its inhabited sections. "This way, but there's a problem." He tapped a section of the map, which turned red. Radiation leak from damaged reactor shielding. Levels high enough to be lethal within hours, even for humans. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. Council species would die within minutes of exposure to such radiation. Humans could potentially survive long enough to complete a mission, but not to return. "I need volunteers," Do-yoon said simply. Every hand in the room went up. Outside the station, Commander Hana Park's ship led what remained of the joint task force in a desperate battle against the hierarch fleet. The Defiance had taken heavy damage. Life support was failing in multiple sections, and 3 of her engine cores were offline. "Shields at 12%, reported her tactical officer, voice steady despite the chaos around them. "Divert emergency power from deck 3 through 7, Hana ordered. Blood trickled from a cut on her forehead where she had been thrown against a console during a direct hit. Mero, her Linar first officer, looked at her with concern. "Commander, you need medical attention." "Later," she replied, eyes fixed on the tactical display. "We need to keep their attention on us while the infiltration team works." Another hit rocked the ship. A support beam crashed down from the ceiling, striking Hana's shoulder. She grimaced but remained standing. "How is she still?" "Functioning?" one of the alien crew members whispered. "She's human," came the simple reply. Inside the station, Do-yoon led his team through narrow tunnels glowing with warning signs in multiple languages. Their makeshift radiation shielding, constructed from materials found in the maintenance room, would only delay the inevitable. Every member of the team carried a small device measuring their exposure. "Time to effects?" Do-yoon asked the team medic. "At current levels?" "Nausea within 2 hours. Incapacitation in 3 to 4. Do-yoon nodded. "Then we move fast." They crawled through dusty passages never meant for regular access. Twice they had to cut through sealed bulkheads. The work was slow and exhausting, made worse by the growing radiation sickness. 6 hours into the mission, they reached a junction above the central hub. Through a small grate, they could see the council leaders being guarded by hierarch soldiers. "I count 12 guards," whispered Minjai, peering through the grate. "And some kind of energy field around the perimeter." "Can we disable it?" Do-yoon asked. Minjai studied the generator. "Yes, but it'll alert them immediately." Do-yoon looked at his team. Several were already showing signs of radiation poisoning: pale skin, nosebleeds, trembling hands. They had maybe an hour of effective combat capability left. "We only get one chance," he said. "Make it count." In space, Hana's diversionary attack had evolved into something more. A weak point in the hierarch fleet's formation had appeared, and she had seized the opportunity. "Push forward," she ordered. "Target their command ship." The Defiance surged ahead, followed by the remaining Allied vessels. On the bridge, warning lights flashed as systems failed across the ship. "Hull breach on Deck 5, called out an officer. "Seal," Hana ordered, her voice hoarse from breathing in smoke. Her injured shoulder hung limply at her side, but she remained focused on the battle. As they closed on the hierarch command ship, Hana saw a transmission coming through on a secure channel. It was from inside the station. "Infiltration team in die. Position," Do-yoon reported, his face gaunt on the small screen. "Beginning final approach," Hana nodded. "We'll keep them busy out here. Good luck." "For Earth?" Do-yoon said with a small smile. "For all of us," Hana corrected him. The transmission ended and Hana turned back to the battle. The next few minutes would determine everything. Whether the Council survived, whether humanity proved its worth, whether the galaxy had a future. "All weapons on the command ship," she ordered. "Full power." The Defiance surged forward, damaged, but unbroken, carrying the hopes of 28 species into the heart of the enemy fleet. Do-yoon led the remaining members of his team through the final section of maintenance tunnel. Only 7 of the original 30 had made it this far. The others had either succumbed to radiation sickness or stayed behind to secure their path. "Disabler ready," whispered Minjai, holding up a small device they had cobbled together from spare parts. Her hands shook slightly, her skin pale and clammy from radiation exposure. Do-yoon nodded. His own body was failing him. Vision blurring at the edges, blood occasionally dripping from his nose. He checked his radiation monitor. The numbers were well into the lethal zone. "On my mark," he said. 3, 2, 1. Minjai activated the device. The energy field surrounding the council chamber flickered and died. Immediately, Do-yoon kicked open the grate and his team dropped into the room below. The hierarch guards reacted with mechanical precision, but the humans moved with the desperate speed of those with nothing to lose. Years of training on a high-gravity world with natural predators had honed human reflexes to a level that surprised even the hierarchs. In space, Hana's ship pushed through the enemy formation. The Defiance's hull was breached in multiple places, held together more by determination than structural integrity. "Target locked," called out her weapons officer. "Fire everything," Hana ordered. The Defiance's remaining weapons released a concentrated barrage against the hierarch command ship. Its shields flickered and then failed completely. "They're hailing us," Merrill reported in surprise. "On screen," Hana said, straightening despite the pain in her injured shoulder. The image that appeared showed a being unlike any hierarch soldier they had encountered before. Taller, with more integrated technology, and multiple glowing eyes arranged in a complex pattern. This was clearly a higher-ranking hierarch. "You fight unexpectedly," it said, its voice translated through a mechanical device. "We wish to observe your commander directly." Inside the station, Do-yoon's team had secured the council leaders. The chamber was littered with the bodies of hierarch guards. But their victory had come at a terrible cost. Only 4 humans remained, standing, all showing severe signs of radiation poisoning. "We need to move," Do-yoon told the shaken council members. "Follow us exactly." As they prepared to leave, the main doors to the chamber slid open. A tall hierarch entered, flanked by elite guards. Unlike the others, this one moved with fluid grace that seemed almost human. "Impressive," it said. "No other species has penetrated our defenses so effectively." Do-yoon raised his weapon, but the hierarch made no aggressive move. "I am the Supreme Commander," it announced, "and I wish to understand how creatures so physically inferior can fight with such effectiveness." Before Do-yoon could respond, a new alert sounded throughout the station. Emergency transport signatures appeared in the chamber as Commander Hana Park and a small team from the Defiance materialized. "Secure the council members," Hana ordered her team. She turned to face the hierarch Supreme Commander, her injured body somehow still commanding respect. "You are the human leader?" the commander asked. "One of them," Hana replied. The commander studied her with its multiple eyes. "You are damaged, yet you continue to function. How?" "That's what humans do," Hana said simply. "Your vessels are inferior. Your weapons are less advanced, your bodies are fragile. Yet you have stopped our advance." The commander's voice held something like curiosity. "I wish to understand." "Your forces have never faced Deathworlders before," Hana explained. "We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day in 100 different ways." The commander approached her slowly. "As did I." This revelation stunned the watching council members. The hierarch removed part of its facial covering, revealing skin marked with radiation burns similar to those now appearing on the humans. "My species comes from what you would call a Class 10 world," it explained. "We believed this made us superior to all others. Until now." In a move that shocked everyone, the commander drew a ceremonial blade. "On my world, when 2 apex predators meet, they test each other's strength directly." Without hesitation, Hana accepted the challenge. What followed was a battle that would be recorded in council history for centuries to come. Both combatants were already injured. Both fought with the natural instincts of species evolved to survive hostile environments. The council observers watched in horror and fascination as 2 Deathworld species demonstrated combat abilities far beyond anything they had witnessed before. Hana moved with fluid economy despite her injuries, while the commander used its enhanced strength and reflexes. When Hana finally gained the upper hand, pinning the commander with its own blade at its throat, a strange silence fell over the chamber. "Finish it," the commander said, as one predator to another. Instead, Hana stepped back, lowering the weapon. "That's the difference between us. We learned that sometimes survival means knowing when not to kill." The commander considered this. "An interesting adaptation." Hours later, as medical teams treated the survivors, the hierarch fleet began its withdrawal from council space. The Supreme Commander had ordered a full retreat, the first in their species' history. Admiral Ji-ho Kim stood with Counselor Tamar, watching as the human survivors were treated for radiation exposure. "Today marks a turning point," Tamar said, her skin glowing with patterns of deep blue respect. "Not just in this war, but in how the galaxy understands Deathworlders." Ji-ho nodded. "We're not just dangerous because we can fight. We're dangerous because we choose when not to." The event, as it became known throughout the galaxy, forever changed how humans were perceived. They were indeed the most lethal species, not just for their ability to endure and fight, but for their capacity to show mercy when victory was assured. And across the stars, other species began to look at Earth with new eyes. recognizing that the harsh crucible that had forged humanity had created something both terrifying and wonderful.